Hey, you know what's crazy?
What?
That a cop just pulled up on me just now. And that's crazy. A cop just pulled. He was asking if someone else live here, but he's still here or whatever. But I told him everything went well. Cop right there. He asked me a couple questions. I complied with him. He didn't drag me out the car. He ain't provoke me. You know what I'm saying? He ain't provoke. You have a great day, officer. All right. So yeah. So I don't agree with all that. Every cop is bad because as you could just see, I was just approached by one, and he didn't stop me. He didn't racial profile me. He asked me a couple questions. I complied, and he left me alone. He's going on with his day. So what's the problem?
Right. And that goes straight into the next topic.
Hey, God is with us.
Yep.
God is with us. You know that.
Yeah.
You know that.
Defunding the police, right? Is that a good idea? Is that a bad idea? Defunding the police. While I look this up.
You talking about defunding the police?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about the ignorant thing I ever heard in my whole entire life. For one, just throw that out there because ever since I was growing up, we always looked up to the police, and we always, well, I ain't gonna say we, I always had respect for them, and if I ever needed them, I called them. They came out to help me. So I never had really a bad experience with the police, and if I did, it was because I was acting out of character and I didn't want to comply with what they was telling me to do or what they were saying. So, as far as defunding the police, I think that's very ignorant. I think for the people that is in minority situations that are innocent and that have a family that's trying to do the right thing, and the people that don't want to do the right thing is gonna harm them, and is gonna rob them, gonna take their stuff, and who are they gonna call when they're in need? You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that makes any sense to defund the cops. And anybody in their right mind that think it is, they should never ever call the cops. Ever. Never.
So, yeah, definitely agree. Ignorant. Ignorant. They didn't think that through when they said that. They didn't think about what that means when they said that, right? They didn't think about the chaos that's already going on. Chaos that's already going on. And there's still police. If there's no police or even less the police or a fraction of the police, it's going to get 10 times worse, right? So something I got to say about the police and stuff like that. So someone right here on a comment was talking about um, police just need to focus on policing the communities instead of telling people how to live when they're allowed to use their constitutional rights. And this was talking about um, somebody, a police officer, a chief of the department, basically calling out the civilians that are acting up, calling them out, like, hey, this is what needs to happen, right? Y'all need to act this way, be respectful, basically. Be respectful, and then respect's gonna get returned, right? And so when this person said you just need to focus on policing the communities instead of telling people how to live, that got me some type of way, because policing the community is a community service, right? It's a community
Yeah.
service, and it's there to help the community, right? So that means communicating with the community, interacting and engaging with the community, right? And that means a lot, right? That means a lot. So, and what I'm gonna say is, if you don't get to know your local police officers or firemen or first responders, how can y'all come together to fix the community that you are all in right now, right? So otherwise, all you see is a badge and a uniform, and you don't see the person underneath. So with that being said, that's kind of my view on things, right? People just think that police are just these mindless robots that just do what the government says and that's it, right? That there's no people underneath it. They just want to demonize them, right? But if you get to know them, right, even if you just be respectful, right? I'm respectful to you and you're respectful to me, and you can just have a conversation with them or whatever, and you get to know them, you're gonna get more comfortable with them because you guys are gonna know each other a little bit better. He doesn't just see you as another black man. He don't just see me as another brown man, and you don't just see him as a badge and a gun. You actually get to know the person underneath, and you guys actually get to have a dialogue, a communication, and a conversation, and that can bring y'all closer together. Because now, if y'all need help, either way, if y'all need help, y'all can come together. Y'all can come together and fix the community or help the
Bro,
community or whatever.
bro, the conflict, it does, man. it's not that people can't get along. The conflict is when you're wrong and you want to make it right, and you got people that 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 job is to enforce what is right. That's the
No,
conflict.
I 100% agree
That's
with
the
that.
conflict. People
100%
want to
agree
do
with
what
that.
they want to do and want to be cool with cops until the cops have to do their job, which is to protect and serve and enforce the law. And people don't have no respect for what's right anyway. So with
I
that
agree.
knowledge of not having respect for what is right, you're not gonna respect a cop. You're not gonna respect Christ. You're not gonna respect God. You're not gonna respect anybody that represents what's right or trying to do right because you're wrong and you believe that it's right and you try to make it right. And anytime you try to make things right, it's always gonna be chaos.
No, I absolutely
Always
agree.
gonna be chaos.
100% agree. People don't want to be accountable. People don't want to be held accountable. People want to just be able to do whatever they want and get away with it. They don't want to face the consequences. They don't want to own up to what they did. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to go to jail. They don't want to do all these things that deal with the consequences of what they did. They just want to do what they do and get away with it and then talk shit later. That's all people want to do these days. They don't want to be like, hey, yeah, I fucked up. My bad. Hey,
And,
hey,
and the thing
it is what
about
it
it,
is.
everybody can't have that same fucking mindset. That's the thing. That's the thing that irritates me. Like that. What if everybody had that same mindset of doing what they want to do and whether it's right or wrong and with no repercussions, anything? We would have no world. So ours, this world is built off morals of what's right and what works for everyone. But when you try to go go opposite of that, it's chaos because it's not working because it's not natural. It's not you're not doing naturally things that goes for everyone.
Right.
And when you step outside of that, and then people get mad and say, well, the cops didn't have to do this. The cops no. How did it get there? How did it get there? It led from somewhere. It just doesn't end. The end result is death. But how did it get there? And we're trying to hold cops accountable for every single little thing, and we're not even holding ourselves as humans accountable for our own self. So how are the cops any different from us?
Mhm.
They're not. They're not. They're not any. They're human just like we are. And anyone that don't believe that, if anyone that don't believe that, they're perfect.
Right. And that goes right into what I just said before, right? Get to know them and there's a person underneath it. But like you said, people want to go against the grain. People want to go against authority. And that's everywhere. It ain't just with regular people and the cops. It's in the military too. You got soldiers who
Yep.
don't want to fucking listen and then they hate their NCO because they want to enforce the standard, right? Oh, you fucked up.
Yeah.
Go do this. I'm gonna write you this counsel. Go do this. Now they want to talk shit and be mad because you're enforcing the standard. But if you weren't wrong, we wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. But they want to hate on them because now the NCO wants to enforce the standard. Now the soldier wants to feel some type of way. You fucked up. You did something wrong. This
Yeah.
is the punishment.
And I was one of those soldiers. Like I didn't always do the right thing. Sometimes I wanted to go back and forth or mouthed off. But the right thing was to do is do what you were signed up to do. Shut your fucking mouth, hold your discipline, and when you get the rank, you'll be telling somebody else what to do one day.
Mhm.
But until then, you do what you was told. And I'm a veteran. I didn't always do what I was told, but I knew what was right to do.
Right. Exactly.
It's a difference when you know what's right to do and you just play like you don't. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the chaos come in. People want to do things that they're not supposed to do and get away with it and expect that everyone's gonna be cool with it. And that's not how the world go. And in a couple years, if everybody keep accepting everything, that's how the world will go. And
Exactly.
the world will come to an end. And it won't be by God's doing. It's gonna come by by manly doing.
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
so we can't continue on to try to be accepted for everything.
Mhm.
You pretty much say, okay, you can do what you want, but hey, it has to be a right and wrong in what you're doing, and that goes for everybody. And I don't want to bring beliefs and morals in, but if it goes against nature, then in my opinion, it's not working or it's not right, and that's just my opinion.
Right. And to go back to the topic, defunding the police, right? You got all these different cases that are just now popping up, talking about pedophilia and all this other child trafficking and all that stuff that's been going on forever, for years. And then you got big breaks in cases where you got like 39 people or kids that just got found, or another case I saw over 100 in a single day in 24 hours. right? But you want to defund the police. That takes away from those resources. That takes away from all that progress. All you're doing is limiting and hindering that. Now you got less people on the job. They got less tools and less resources that they need to get the job done. Now it's going to take forever. Now imagine if that's your kid that's getting trafficked, right? Get sexually abused and everything else. You want it to be resolved and found out as soon as possible. But if you're taking stuff away from them, taking the resources, it's only going to take more and more and more and more and more time,
Yeah.
and then the worst could happen. And
And
people realize that.
another thing is, if the hood don't like the police and it's fuck the police, why the fuck the police keep coming back to the hood? Why do people keep calling them to the hood? Like like everybody in the hood swear it's F the police. So why do y'all keep calling them back to the hood? If y'all don't want the police help handling yourself, then let the gang members handle it, let the community handle it. But someone is smart in the community to call somebody that's supposed to do a job like that. And that's always, like I said, the whole community don't have the same views, but majority of that community gonna be either good or bad, and that goes for every community. It's gonna be more good or more bad. And I think in a lot of minority areas, it's bad because of the people, not the resources. The people, it's the people, and it's all about character, bro. I say that all the time. Like, it's the character that you judge, not the uniform. And some people never gonna understand that. Never gonna understand that, and I'm getting to a point that I'm not gonna try to keep explaining it. Like, if you don't, God don't make us do anything that we don't want to do. And me as trying to follow him, I can't be trying to make someone listen to me or make someone do anything that they don't want to do. It's the same, it goes the same way. He doesn't force us to love him, and I can't force somebody to love me. And that's just how it goes, man.
Right, and like you
You
said,
can't
you
force
got
somebody to do anything that they don't want to do.
right, like you said, you got in these communities, it's either majority they're good or bad, right? It's all on the character, it's all on the individual, and that kind of what we're talking about, the toxic environment, right? How are you going to raise that individual? How is anybody going to get raised up in that neighborhood or in that community if it's toxic? You know, there's this old saying, it takes a village to raise a man, right? It,
Yeah.
everybody's input has got to help. Everybody's going to pitch in a little bit, teach him something, right? Whether they're trying to or not, he's going to learn something from everybody in that community. He's going to hit whatever he sees in that environment in his neighborhood. That's how he's being raised. It takes a whole village. So if it's a toxic village, he's going to grow up doing toxic shit. He's going to be a
And it's
toxic
gonna be very
individual.
hard for him to get out of it.
Right.
Not
Not
necessarily that
impossible,
he's
it's just
gonna
hard.
end that way. It's not necessarily that he's gonna end up being that way. But if he don't open his mind that the whole world is in front of him, he will end up that way, or she will end up that way. So, because I'm a prime example, but I don't want to be egoistic or try to keep using myself, but I'm a prime example of it. Like, you do not have to be the person you was 20 years ago or 15 years ago, or the person that everybody knows from the hood or from the military. I'm a prime example of you can change, you can renew your mind and think different. And a lot of my friends, that's why a lot of my friends do not like me anymore, probably hate me and don't love me anymore, because they see that I have changed, and they can't understand how I changed and why I changed. They can't understand it because I can't understand it, because this guy is doing, it's renewing of the mind. However my thinking was before, I have to let that go and have faith in what God can do and what God could change for me. And that's what we all have to do, bro. We all have to change our mindset on how we was taught and what people have taught us. And if you're not willing to do that, you're narrow-minded and closed-minded, and you're gonna suffer your whole life thinking that you're a victim.
I agree, 100%. And I still think you need to do like a testimonial video, right? Talking about your
I know.
benefits. You need to. That way people understand where you're coming from, where you came from, and then till now, all the progress that you've made. I think that's important for people to see.
I'm just gonna keep hinting at every video. I'm just gonna keep dropping a couple life stories, because I don't know, man. If it comes, it comes. We'll get to it. But for right now, I want to keep it straight up raw material. Man, we thought of topics. This is our first time discussing it, and that's how we doing. This is what unapologetically logical thinkers do. They don't need a lot of time to think about what they need to talk about, because they know what's right. And if they hear or conversating with someone, they're gonna know what to say. It's gonna be revealed to them what to say. You don't have to do too much planning on anything in life. You have faith in what you're trying to do, and everything else is gonna fall right behind it. If the head is in order, the body will follow. And I truly believe that.
Absolutely. Hey, that's a absolutely right. That couldn't have said it better right there.